All right, so today we're talking about steel wool photography. About a week ago, I met my boy Burke, and he challenged me to do a Monday challenge. So we talked about doing some kind of photography challenge. So those of you that do not know what steel wool photography is, it's when you get a whisk and you put some steel wool through the end of it, you light it with a lighter, you burn it, and then you spin it around and you get some crazy sparks. So this is the first time we've ever tried this before. Here's a couple examples of what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Rocky's right now. I'm gonna get some steel wool. Hey Pups, you wanna go for a ride? You wanna go for a ride? And I got some steel wool. I got a couple of different grades. I got 0, 0, 0, and 0, 0, 0, 0. So the higher the number, it's finer and it burns differently. Thanks, man. I didn't want to use our whisk, so I went to the store and I bought a whisk. So the more you pull it apart and then you stuff it in, it acts as a more combustible. So when you put it towards the end and you spin it around, it's gonna stay lit and it's gonna have more sparks. It came out pretty well. I think we did a pretty decent job. The difference between this night photography and regular day photography is the settings are completely opposite. So let's talk about camera settings. So it's a little different than regular photography. You're gonna want your shutter to be open at 30 seconds, and you're gonna want your f-stop at f8 or a little higher. You don't wanna shoot wide open because you're gonna let in more light. So I find the sweet spot is either 5.6 to f11. I shot at f8 and I found that it works pretty good. So the gear you're gonna need is just a regular camera, and then you're gonna need a steady tripod, you're gonna need a whisk, you're gonna need a lighter, some steel wool, and you're going to need a friend being there to help you out. You're gonna want your shot to be locked down and not touching your camera for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, the shutter's gonna click and then you're gonna get your exposure. Okay, so yeah, I packed my whisk. I pulled it apart so the airflow can kind of get through it and it'll stay burnt. I kind of stuffed it towards the end of the whisk. And yeah, and I borrowed my dog's leash, so hopefully that'll work out. I didn't have anything else, so this will work, whatever. So I think we did pretty good. Here's a couple examples of the shots that we got. So I think we got around 5 or 6 shots, and then the police came. Someone said that the neighbors saw fireworks or something like that. So yeah, we just had the popo pull up on us pretty hot. He thought we were lighting up fireworks.
Yeah. Like I thought he was gonna hit us. like, I was standing right here.
I was gonna say steel wool photography and start explaining it, but Burke was like, yeah, we're doing long exposures. And
don't. If anybody comes over here asking what we're doing, don't tell them. Just say like, oh, long exposure.
Long exposure photography.
Because like that other guy earlier, we don't know if he was a cop or a firefighter or something.
Cop with a poodle,
All the cops. I mean, I told you there was that truck sitting out there for a while.
Yeah.
And he's gone now that the cop's gone.
Which is pretty crazy because there's no noise involved in this, so it just sparks. So after that, we decided to be done with that area and just move on to another area. Me and Burke packed it up, and then we went down the street to Indian Orchard Mills, and we got a couple of shots there. So the first area that we shot at was a alleyway. So I saw a couple of stuff on Instagram where they shoot in like a tunnel or some kind of like alleyway, and the sparks kind of hit the walls. That was definitely my favorite shot. And then we went around to the back, and this is an example of what we got. So I was standing on top of a dumpster, and then we pointed the camera straight up, and I got a pretty dope shot. I had a little bit of a light spill from the light, and it added some really cool, like a lens flare, and I got a really cool shot, and here's an example of that one. So just a couple of tricks and tips for this. So what I was using for these was a 0, and it seemed to work pretty good. It was a little windy, and I had a hard time keeping it lit. So you're gonna want a good lighter for one, and maybe a grill lighter. I think a grill lighter would probably work best. So thank you so much for watching. This was just a short video, basically not necessarily showing you how to do it, but this is like my experience, and we had fun. This was an experiment for me, just trying to figure out, if I could even do it or not. So I think I did pretty well. I think for next time I have a couple of things I want to do differently. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you found this video helpful at all, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell for new videos. I plan on making new videos weekly, maybe 2, but I really appreciate it. So I'll see you in the next one.